Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 9 from Otona Precure, Power of Hope, Kibono Chikara, Precure Full Bloom. So many names for such a great series. Saki's time, Cure Bloom and Cure Egret. Splash Star is back even with Kaoru and Michiru. When I saw them, I almost cried. Oh my god, it was so good. What a great episode this was, even though I feel like it lacked a little bit animation wise. I don't think it matters that much because, overall it was amazing. Before going on to Saki and Mai, and mostly Saki, before talking about them, let's talk about the other things that happened in this episode. We started the episode with a fighting scene, and we unfortunately didn't have much of a fighting scene. We just had stock footage from Cure Rouge and Cure Dream. And why didn't they just add more shadows to that scene? It was so weird because why did they make Cure Rouge look way weaker? She couldn't defeat the shadows by herself. She needed Cure Dream to defeat the shadows. Why was that needed? Oh my god, it was kind of disappointing, but that scene was actually there to show that the time flowers are dangerous to the girls and they're suffering because of them. They still don't know, but they're suffering. Cure Dream fainted and Cure Rouge also felt a little bad, but overall, Dream thinks that she is feeling that way because she's exhausted, she's working a lot, and it's hard to balance adult life with Precure, with being a Precure. Oh my god, that's a take I was not expecting. So we also had a scene of the girls talking in the time bar, and they were talking about the fact that now Komachi is a cure again, and they're investigating. Komachi wants to go to the clock tower one more time. And they were also talking about Dark Knight Light, their presence, and how important they are when they're talking about the shadows. And it's funny because now the shadows are appearing in cameras. They weren't before, but now they can actually film the shadows. Does that mean that the shadows are becoming stronger now? Is that the reason? That's kind of curious. And so we have Karen saying like, "Oh my god, I'm watching Dark Knight Light," and they were like, "Oh, you're a fan now," and she was like, "No, I'm not a fan. I'm just watching because it's fun." Oh my god, that's such a Karen thing to do. Love that scene as well. So now let's focus on Saki and Mai. Mai is already like resolved with the issues she was having with herself, and Saki is dealing with them now. Saki is engaged to a man that we don't know much about. We don't see him fully. We just see a little bit of his face and whenever he appears. And she is also working at Panpakapan, and she is set to inherit the store from her parents, especially because her dad, who is a very hot man, by the way. What a handsome man. But I felt like he was bigger. Did they make him shorter? Or is it just because like Saki and Mai, they grew up? It felt to me like he was bigger in Splash Star. But he also wants to study about Japanese sweets in another place. So he wants to leave Panpakapan to Saki for Saki to take care of. But Saki is having a hard time herself taking care of the bread. And now she is spending a little bit more time with Mai. And she is talking to her. They're sharing things a little bit. And she shared to Mai that she is getting married soon, that she is inheriting the store from her parents, and also her fiance wants to create a restaurant close to Panpakapan with fresh vegetables from the place that they live in. But Mai noticed that there is something wrong about Saki. And I love this because it just goes to show that they still have that deep connection. They still have it in them. That bond they created is still there. Saki helped Mai when it was Mai's turn to feel weird about herself, and now it's Mai's turn to do the same. So she calls her to the legendary Sky Tree. It was so good seeing the tree again. It was so important in Splash Star. They had so many important moments in that exact place. Funny, there are some things that they just gloss over. One of them is the fact that a building company wants to destroy that place so that they can build more houses. and they're really feral on that. They really want to do it, and obviously there's money involved. There's a lot of money involved. So we were like, oh my God, are they actually gonna do it? Because I don't know how I feel about the tone of Otona right now. Is Otona having an upbeat tone? Is it more of a realistic tone? I don't know where Otona is gonna go. That is nice because I don't know what to expect. I never know what to expect from Otona. And so my takes it out from Saki, and Saki is able to share that she actually wanted to go to France to have a course on bread making, but she can't because she is getting married and she is also inheriting Pampakapan. She has responsibilities on her, so she can't really do whatever she wants to do. And one of the funny things about this is that marriage seems to be an important part of Saki's story, and it's funny because it to me, it feels like it's kind of an obligation to her to get married. Like she has this relationship with this man that we don't know about. We hear very little about it, while we know and learn a lot about Saki's character. So it feels like she's getting married because, it's just a social convention. She has to do it. And it just feels so mechanical and kind of weird. I don't know if I'm trying to cope or not cope with the fact that Saki and Mai are not together. That would be my end goal, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Unfortunately, they're not together. It feels so like she is taking the steps that she is supposed to take. And before she gets to a resolution, Belle summons other shadows, and this time around it's a different type of shadow again, and the shadow starts attacking, but then they are saved by mysterious people. When they arrived, Kaoru and Michiru, when they arrived, girl, I freaked out a little bit. Seeing them in their full glory, it was gorgeous. And I was really not expecting to see them and to have them introduce themselves and talk about how they were born from the dark fall, dark energy, and how they were brought from evil forces. And I also love all of the reasonings why they are fighting now, they're not fighting, why they have created Dark Knight Light. Because they are a very popular duo on the internet right now. People love what they do, and people love their recommendations as well. After they recommended Panpakapan, people started going there like nonstop. So it feels like they're very powerful influencers. And the reason why they're doing this really caught me off guard because I haven't thought about it. But it makes so much sense. After everything they've gone through in Splash Star, they've got to understand how beautiful life is and how important it is to treasure what we have as humans. And now they are doing their content to show people around them to show people that watch them how beautiful and precious life is, how we have to treasure life and the things around us because they are beautiful. And I love that. It's a lesson they learned in Splash Star, especially because of Saki and Mai and the friendship that they had with them. And they took it and they're now spreading it around in their own way. Incredible. I loved that moment so much. And then we could understand a little bit more on Belle's perspective, which is whenever there are humans, there's going to be destruction. Whenever there are humans, there's got to be a fall. And that is probably why she's doing what she's doing. It's weird because when the humans were trying to rebuild things from war that we saw last episode, it seems, we don't really know, but it seems Belle was helping them. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But at the same time, it's understandable because in this episode, we also see humans trying to destroy environment, trying to destroy the legendary Sky Tree. And, it was just a little bit, but we could see that the girls have one perspective, but then like executives have a totally different perspective. So I could totally understand Belle after seeing what the constructors were trying to do. And after that, we see Kaoru and Michiru get captured, and Saki really had a hard time confronting herself, because for her to become a cure again, as Mai wanted, she had to see herself and actually accept who she is. That's a core part of being a pre-cure, right? And she was having a very hard time doing that. And I just loved what Mai told her. Saki was on the ground, and Mai, reached out her hand to her and told her, "You are Saki." And because Saki told her, "I'm not a child anymore. I cannot do what I want. I have responsibilities." Like, she was thinking about her responsibilities. And Mai was there to reach out her hand and say, "You're no different than when you were a child. You are still Saki. That energy, that drive that you had is still there somewhere inside you. You just have to find it again." And at that moment, Saki was able to let go of her fear and to embrace what she really wanted. And it's so funny that embracing what you really want to do and connecting with yourself in Otona, at least, makes you become a cure again, gives you power to become a pre-cure again. And I just love that. And they became Cure Bloom and Cure Ygritte. What a moment this was. Simply gorgeous. I loved it so much, seeing those two again. Oh, it was lovely. The fighting scene was a little bit short. We know that Bloom and Ygritte can kick some ass, baby. They didn't. I mean, they kind of did. And they were able to showcase a little bit of their physical powers and a little bit of their defensive powers as well. But then they quickly used their final attack and everything was fine. And after that, Saki actually wanted to take new steps and wanted to do what she wants to do. So she decided, "I'm going to France." And she talked to her parents and she talked to her fiance too. And it was very funny when she talked to her parents. What they said was, "Okay, good luck." And she was like, "Oh my God, you're just saying it like this makes it feel so anticlimactic." Because it's so true. Sometimes we create so many problems in our heads, and sometimes we create so many things and our heads start like boiling. And, sometimes the solution is just in front of us. So I just feel like she just needed that little push to go forward and understand that what she wants to do is also important. And it was also nice that her fiance accepted it, and he said, "No matter, we are getting married, doesn't matter. I'm still gonna support you in what you want to do." So I was a little like afraid of her, like this mechanical relationship that was being created. It feels like it's fine. I was still rooting for Saki and Mai, though, to be together. I was really rooting for them. And so at the end, they were talking in Time Bar, and Kaoru and Michiru were there again, and they finally showed their real identities to everyone. And it was so funny that all of the girls noticed that they were Dark Knight Light because of their voices. It was everything. And Saki and Mai getting shocked that Kaoru and Michiru were actually Dark Knight Light. Oh my goodness. Simply gold. And so they decide to go to the clock tower because they know that Belle is there. I wonder how they're going to find her. But then Nozomi faints. And the episode ends with her fainting. And we see Nuts and Shirup. They are researching Time Flower, and they see the Time Flower is actually dangerous. And we finally see one of the Time Flowers losing a petal, which is probably Nozomi's, because Nozomi was the first one to transform. So she probably spent more of the Time Flower power. And we see all the Time Flowers with the colors of the cures. It's very weird to see the Precure power. I mean, we're 20 seasons in Precure, and the Cure power is never seen in a bad light. It's never seen like a curse. So it's very weird looking at it and seeing it as something dangerous. You're transforming, you're in danger. There are lots of magical girls that touch over this and use the magical girl power as something that will not benefit you. And Precure tackling this is a new thing. I don't know how I feel about like, oh my God, I can't really fight. I can't really transform because this is, taking my life force away. We don't understand much of Time Flowers, but it's very weird to see the Precure power in this light. I still am very curious for the story and for what's actually going on. So I'm not going to give my full opinion on it now, but I still don't know how I feel about it. I wanted the girls to be able to fight freely, especially because I feel like it's such a positive thing when they become cures because they get in touch with themselves again. Maybe it's like the lesson. You don't need to have the Precure power to get in touch with who you really are. But I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent here. I'm curious to see what Time Flowers actually are doing with them and why. But I want to see them kicking some ass. I want to see them fighting, and I want to see them in their full glory as well. Not only with stock footage, baby. We want to see some ass kicking like episode 1. Yoshiyama Yu, can you save us? Anyways, babes, this was my opinion on episode 9. Very good episode for Saki. Lovely, lovely moments between Saki and Mai. I really loved how Mai rescued Saki. And Kaoru and Michiru, also gorgeous. Next week, we're probably going to discover more on the Time Flowers. The Sinister Flower, baby. What's going on? Anyways, babes, this is it for now. I'm going to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.